Hi everyone, so here's a useful tip for how to spot a scam and how to wake up and realise that we have been scammed on a monumental scale over the last few years. And it's very straightforward. I want to draw your attention to one particular event because this is what made me snap out of the hypnosis, because we were all under a spell. It's just a fact. Remember the G7 event in Cornwall? It was in June 2021, I believe. And all these leaders convened and they had these lavish barbecues. The Queen turned up, who was vulnerable, so-called vulnerable, but it was absolutely fine. It was absolutely safe. But at the same time, there were restrictions in place for the general public. But she was perfectly fine to do it. There was no sign of face muzzles or anything like that. It looked absolutely wonderful, right? And at the end of that week, we were supposed to have our restrictions removed in the UK. But they had the audacity to come out at the end of that week. I smiled because it's just so blatant. They came out at the end of that week and they said, I'm afraid the case rates are going up again. It's too dangerous. We've got to keep these restrictions in place for another month. And at that moment, I smelt a great big stinking rat. And it took me a while after that to really piece it together, but I knew something was wrong because their actions were at a complete mismatch with the message that they were giving. And this has actually been revealed to be consistent throughout that whole event from 2020 into 2021, because we've now seen that they had all of these parties and gatherings in Downing Street in the garden and stuff. And at the same time, daily, they were coming out and telling you that if you met up with your granny, you'd be a granny killer, right? If you hugged your granny. They were telling kids this. But at the same time, they thought it was fine to have a gathering in the garden. It is nothing short of disgusting. And if you cannot see that you've been played, then you need to start seeing it, because you're continuing to be played. And it is extraordinary how people have just moved on. They lost 2 years of their lives. Some people lost their businesses. Some people committed suicide because they couldn't stand the lockdown. And it was like prison for some people. And at the same time, these people were having parties, and the news has been, and the media have been trying to say that the big story here is they broke their own rules. No. The big story here is they clearly knew that it wasn't as dangerous as the message they were giving, because they thought it was safe enough to do it. And they clearly knew that what they were saying was bollocks. Because I can tell you, these people would have been the first to run for the bunkers if they believed what they were telling you. But they didn't, did they? And we've all seen the videos of some of these world leaders arriving at press conferences without wearing a face muzzle. And then when the cameras come on, they quickly put them on. It was theatre, guys. It was pure theatre. And now let's have a look at another narrative that's playing out, which is the climate change narrative. And the very people, the billionaires that are preaching about this and saying how sea levels are going to rise, we've got to stop flying, we've got to stop eating meat, we've got to stop driving cars. Okay. They're telling us that basically an apocalypse is coming if we don't act. At the same time, you've got Bill Gates and a lot of other elites who are preaching about this with seafront properties. Okay, go and look it up. I'm not making this up. They've got seafront properties. So do you think that they're worried about sea level rise? I would say probably not. You've got them flying around on private jets. You've got Joe Biden arriving at a climate change summit with a 17 or 18 car motorcade or whatever it is. You can't make this shit up. And people say, well, they've got to do this. They've got to meet. No. If they believe we are in the existential crisis that they say we are, they would be doing it on Zoom, because you can do it. They don't believe it. They are taking the piss, and they are telling you a pack of lies in order to justify the measures that they want to impose. And that's a fact. Now, I believe, actually, that all of this is designed to make you see it. It's being shoved in your face to make you see that these people are lying to you. And this is a wake-up call for humanity to realise that these people that have been running our world have been against humanity. And it's time for us to regain our power. That's what this is about. So look out for this. Look at what they do, not what they say, and you'll get to the truth.